everybody. Welcome back to the Everything's Taken podcast. What used to be the bi-weekly or sometimes weekly podcast now has turned into the bicentennial podcast, which we haven't done in like 5 months. So, Wood, who are you? I don't even know who you are anymore.
I don't know about bicentennial, but I'm definitely at least a little bit bi. I'm good. I'm actually really excited because we both have an old friend in this podcast right now, someone who we haven't had a chance to catch up with in a while. Aaron Stapish.
What's up, guys? It just feels like I'm back at home, like being cuddled by my friends. That's what I feel like right now.
I'll cuddle you.
I think Wood and I have cuddled though.
We have. Well, I mean, I think we've all cuddled individually at points.
Yeah.
So for me, this is interesting because Eric was actually the first American I ever met, at least friend, because you came to my hometown. But Aaron, you were the first American I saw when I got off the plane at LAX, the first time I ever came to America.
That's true. I was in a bright, crazy shirt, I remember. And I was like, this is weird to see you. Come give me a hug.
And we went to an arcade and the whole thing felt very surreal for me. Plus, I didn't think I'd slept for like 50 hours at that point.
That still goes in life. Nobody gets sleep these days. There's no time.
No.
And I tried In-N-Out for the first time and it was okay. It's better in California than it is here in Texas.
Better cooks. We cook better, I guess.
Yeah, it's fresher, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about anyone else, but I think it's obvious where I want to start at least. Aaron, what the heck happened to your channel?
Okay, yes. What you mean that hat right behind you that's like perfectly placed? I can see it in there.
Retroliberty.
Yeah, so that? I mean, long story short, I do remember that. There was a lot of things going on in my life, some personal issues, and I know people go through personal issues on YouTube and they keep their channels and whatnot. For me, I went through some bad decisions that I made in my life, and they were decisions that I wasn't forced to make upon deleting my channel and my social media and things I did, but I knew in my personal journey, in order to correct what I did and kind of move forward in a healthy way in my life and make sure that I focus strictly on my family and the important things in life, I needed to delete my channel, delete my social medias at the time. And some people, when I tell them that, they're like, well, why didn't you just keep it and just don't go on it? Because I know better, and I know that I would eventually go back on it and start letting it take precedent over my family. And for me, I don't judge people by the mistakes they make in their life. I look at people more for what they've done with those mistakes in their life, because in reality, who doesn't make mistakes in their life? And I made some that I had to make some big changes in my life in order to better my life, better my family, better my own personal health. And those were steps that I knew I had to take. And as we'll get into, I am so happy with life right now, where it's at a year later, literally about 1 year later. Thrilled with the way I'm able to live my life now in a really healthy way. So
for me, I was so proud of you at the time, because I'm even more proud of you now. But at the time, no one could get a hold of you. And yes. I was the only one that could. And when I heard all of that for the first time, I was just filled with such pride, and because I couldn't do it. You had 33,000 subscribers. You had social media accounts with so many, like thousands of followers. And to just get rid of all of it to commit yourself to being a better person to yourself and your family. I don't know if I could, man. Like at this point, it's our lives. And
it was so hard to do though, because I remember like telling myself, and even, whatever is your higher power, if you have one. For me, I remember praying about it. I'm like, I don't know if I should do this. And YouTube, if you ever go to delete your channel, YouTube will let you know you don't want, it'll stop you. Like, are you sure you have this many subs? Yes, I am sure. Now wait, before you go, you have this many total views. Like, do you want to delete your channel? And I'm like, I felt like Homer Simpson with the nuclear button. I just go, I'm just like, I'm going to do it, and I did it. And at first I really was like riddled with like anxiety about it. Like, what are people saying? What are people saying? Oh my gosh, I feel so bad. I don't know how to do this. But slowly through time, I was able to connect with a lot of people again through conventions and expo, and even some new channels that I have now, which we can go into later or whatnot. But I was able to find out that the community that we built, and the community that Wood and you and Eric was definitely a part of, was such like loving people that when I went to these conventions, I had so much fear and anxiety, like people are going to judge me and yell at me. And I would go up to people and be like, hey, like about to explain. And they're like, stop, just give me a hug. Like, you're alive, you're good. And I'm like, whoa, like this is like the common feel that I get from the gaming community. So I've been one of those people that's always kind of been an advocate for saying the gaming community isn't toxic like I know a lot of people say it is, or at least the one that I was a part of, that you guys were a part of too. So yeah,
it was really such a shock. I mean, your channel heavily inspired me to start this channel, and I was such a huge fan. And just to wake up that day and people messaging me saying it's gone, I didn't believe it.
It's
and
scary.
I never saw those. Yeah. Well, both of you guys were huge. I mean, I was so close with both of you guys. Eric, I did collabs with Eric all the time.
I remember that. I remember like you. I first met you when I barely even got like 100 subscribers, like 4 years ago or something like that. So we just became friends through YouTube, and I was like, surely, I don't know, this guy seemed just really great personality, and we got along really, really well. And we just, did a couple collab videos on Journey to Silius, which is an NES game that you told me about, and I ended up loving it and still love it today. And I still go back and watch that video. You know what I mean? I think it's a great video, and it was sad to see you go at the time that you left YouTube, but I think obviously, being a family man, you got to find your priorities, and even if you have to hit the reset button, obviously, you seem to be in a much better place now. So totally kudos to you for having the guts to delete the channel in the first place and not worrying about what anybody else thought.
And I would have to say to anybody out there, thank you, really. And I would have to say to anybody out there watching, like if you run a YouTube show, or for both of you that are like, Wood's engaged and Eric newly married, like find that ground to make sure that your family feels loved in this, that they're important, because don't let it get to the point where I did, where it was out of control and needed to be reset and started over. Because once you get there, your brain's in a different place. And even Wood, I mean, God, I don't know if people watching, Wood has so many subscribers now, by the way. Congratulations, dude. You feel like I'm the one with anxiety now looking at you. I feel like this is surreal. I'm like, I'm this guy that has all these giant videos now. But Wood, I mean, at the time I talked to him and gave him a shout out. I remember you had like 300 subscribers at the time, and it was like, I loved it when I met you and found you on the internet, and I was like, this guy deserves to be talked about,
You really helped welcome me into the community. It wasn't just getting that initial boost of subs, which you really did do. I remember you were the first person to do it, and seeing someone like that, share my channel on Twitter, I was like, what is happening? Because you did Twitter first, I remember, and then you went ahead and you shared everywhere else. But it was welcoming me in, because that's like a doorway. And then like Gamester81, Metal Jesus, all these other people that know you and have respect for you, then they start giving me shout outs, so they'd be more likely to actually message me or talk to me. And then when I came to America the first time, I convinced Metal Jesus to hang out with me because he knew me through you and other places. And, eventually, obviously, that led me to where I am today, essentially. Like, if you hadn't given me that shout out in the beginning, who knows if my channel would have ever got off the ground. Like, maybe I would have lost motivation shortly after that. Like, you never know. So
it's possible.
And I'm proud of you. I really am. It's so cool to see that where you're at now. It's just like, I don't know, it's kind of surreal to me, but it's well deserved. It'd be different if in the back of my head I'm like, he doesn't deserve it, but you do.
It's surreal to me, and I could talk about that till the cows come home, but I won't. I want to talk about the stuff you're doing now, but before we do, I want to touch on one last thing from all of that. So I made a video shortly after you deleted your channel, because when you called me and we talked about it, and I said, or you said, if you wanted to tell people, that I'm okay. And I think I suggested, well, what if I made a video about it? And that ended up becoming, I wanted to make a tribute video where I wanted to surprise you and get all these people involved to sort of, give their side of what Retroliberty meant to them, what your channel meant to them, what you as a person meant to them. And people hated it. I think
really? I thought they would have loved it.
Maybe they just hated me.
It was like, if you were a fan of Retroliberty, or if you loved Aaron and you had that deep-rooted passion for what he did, you loved it. But if you came to that video looking for an answer of what actually happened to Retroliberty, you didn't get that answer. Yeah. I mean, you did, and I gave essentially what I did was I gave the answer. You wanted to leave and spend time on your family. What I didn't do is tell everyone the nitty gritty little details of your personal life, and that's what they wanted. And
which in reality, for anybody out there, you don't need those things to be out there. It was a personal mistake, and that's all they need to know. In reality, that's all anyone ever needs to know for any celebrity or anything in the world.
And I just wanted them to let you know that you're okay and that we love you, but
Well, I appreciated the video. I remember watching it and I was just like, I was like had anxiety when I saw it because I'm like, whoa, he did it. And I remember watching it and just like, I had like a warm feeling watching you. I purposely didn't look at the comments at the time because I was still in a really weird place, and I was like, I don't want to see the comments. I don't want to know if it's good or bad or whatnot. But so I watched it and I personally went away like it felt like it was like kind of like a friend's letter. Like, hey,
and that's
buddy,
what it was. When
go.
I was making it, I wanted you to watch it, and I wanted you to have a good experience watching. To feel that warm feeling of almost like a send off in a way.
Yeah.
And so, if anything else, I'm glad that it did that. I had a feeling that Eric, somewhere in there, you had a joke you wanted to tell, and we just derailed it. You had that look on your face of you were going to say something stupid.
He was just waiting to deliver. Now's my chance.
I'm always waiting to deliver the dad joke. I mean, obviously, I don't know, probably.
All right, let's talk about what you're doing now, because the past is the past. It happened and it sucked, but we're moving on. And you are.
What are you up to?
So what are you doing now?
What I'm up to now? Well, I work for a company. I work with a boss, and I call him a boss like this because he is a very good friend who is someone who has invested time and a lot of money into me and 2 other guys. And we basically work in this giant warehouse where we run 7 different channels. Some of them are extremely doing really well, but it's nothing that gamers would like or anything like that. So he has also invested time into us to let us do something we love and put passion into and our hearts into, and that's a new gaming channel that we started about 5 months ago. And it's also a part of my journey. I call myself Riff in the Video just because it helps me mentally kind of not focus on the Aaron aspect, even though it is me and it's the same goofy, crazy me. But it's really cool because we're allotted. I mean, you guys can imagine as YouTubers, imagine being somewhere and being paid 8 hours a day to do everything YouTube related with no rules. Just, I trust you guys, do what you do. So I get to put out videos 5 days a week, every time, with topics, with the schedule, with editing. I mean, some of the best videos I've ever been able to put out 5 days a week. And that was like always a dream for me. When I was on Retroliberty, there's no way I could have had time with my family to do this. But now it's like, I have time to do this. And when I go home, I get to just go home and be with my family. But it's interesting because like, I'm in this world that I'm like, I love, and I get to like do it to my full potential. And there is people that pop in from the retro gaming community in the past. John Riggs was just in a video on Monday. NES Complex is going to be in a video. El Ricardo is going to be stopping by for one of the videos. So good old Ricky. So it's just like surreal that I get to go back in this again and to be blessed to be like, do it in a way that's healthy for my family and myself. So, and it's called Superhero Game Squad.
So, for the people that are listening that are gonna, those people that are gonna have this question, this burning question.
Yes.
So, and I know you've pretty much already elaborated on it, but let me just put it point blank.
Totally.
Why delete Retroliberty and then come back to YouTube a year later?
It was because I needed to make sure that it wasn't something that I put in front of my family. And I knew Retroliberty, like I said, I wasn't getting paid for like to do at a work schedule. Everything was kind of going to my head. I was becoming Aaron's this, Aaron's cool, Aaron's funny, and it goes in my head. So I had to delete it to make sure that I wasn't going to allow these things to keep going in my head. But then to return to YouTube, I was able to do it, even talking to my therapist, in a way that doesn't involve putting precedent over my family, by even just simply calling myself a different name, by doing it from 9 to 5, and then when I go home, that's it. I still, part of my personal journey, even if this channel got 10 million subscribers someday, I'm never going to make a Facebook. I'm never going to make a Twitter. I'm never going to make an Instagram, because these are things that I don't want to do outside of when I'm doing it here. It's something that I'm able to creatively put my heart into, but then to go home and to be able to put my heart fully into my family.
Having that work-life separation is, well,
huge.
At least in your case, is huge. And at least, your 9 to 5 can be what you love to do, but at the end of the day, you leave it at work.
I completely understand, because a lot of people see working at home, they see like, oh, YouTubers that get to work at home and do their own thing. They see it as like the best thing ever.
Totally.
And a lot of the times, depending on who you are, it can be the best thing ever. And I mean, I know personally, I prefer to do my own thing than to go and be told what to do. But working at home for me, especially when I do battle depression, it can get my depression and my home life gets meshed with my work so easily, and it's terrible. Like when I'm at home, right here, I'm in my house. I can make videos, I can work, I can do things. So as soon as I'm in the other room trying to enjoy playing a game, in the back of my mind, I know if I go into the other room, I could make something. I could do some kind of work. And it's so hard to separate waking up in the morning and do I go to the office and make something, or do I do it later, or do I make a video today, or do I enjoy my day and then make a video tomorrow? And it all gets meshed together, and what it ultimately ends up being is my brain just wants to always work and it never stops. And what I'm trying to do right now with Billy and Jay is find a studio space. And it's kind of crazy because it's like I have such a good space to film right here, but I want to go pay for somewhere else.
It's huge.
It's so I can wake up in the morning, I can go somewhere, I can commit 100% with no distractions to just work for 6 to 8 hours a day, whatever I want, and then come home and just know that I'm home. I can't edit anymore. I can't do that anymore. I can spend time with Kim. I can pet the cats. I can play some video games.
Yeah, and your future wife, it's like they'll get this different sense because, there's nothing worse than you're recording a video and the wife or the fiance wakes in and you're like, hold on.
Right.
Like clearly, like this is more important.
I just had to go out and tell Kim to turn the TV down because I had to record. See, right now, you got to go to the studio and set up, and that's what I want to be able to do. I want to be able to, I got to do a podcast. I'm going to drive down to the studio and I'm going to hit record.
Here's a real thing for you. If you move to California, we'll give you a studio for free.
Dude, don't tell me that because
I'm
I
telling
talk
you
to
for
Kim
real
about it every day.
I'm telling you. I'm actually telling you for real. If you came to California, you would have a studio for real. We have green rooms over there, studios are here, 4 editing computers down there, a gaming set right here, just a switch hooked up on a 70-inch TV right here behind me.
It's so tempting.
If you come, you're in.
It's so tempting, but then again, what a burger. So I love Texas, man. I don't think Kim and I could handle California more than a couple weeks. But if you could send one here,
I've got no, it's not a joke. I've got
it's a dad
burning
joke.
question.
I feel it.
It's not because I'm genuinely curious.
You started with look.
Yeah, I always start with a look. All right. So, okay, look, so we've alluded to like all three of us collaborating in the past. And there was a particular instance, a point in time in which all three of us were collaborating semi-regularly to a point.
Yeah.
What happened to the grid gaming?
Yeah. Dude, there's a video on my channel still saying go check out Grid Gaming. It's like a 2-minute video. I didn't believe it.
Go check it out. No, honestly, it was a job. It's almost think of it as like an IGN in the works, in their baby stages, in their Silicon Valley stages, figuring something out. And the bosses, which we didn't know at the time, and I hope they're not watching because I don't mean to de-rattle them, but they were investing in a lot of different things. They had like 80 different things going. And as soon as one goes quicker than the other, these guys are multimillionaires with investments to make, drop. Just like that. And there was no like, hey, time's coming. It was, hey, go, we have a meeting in the office. Last day. Love you. We'll call you sometime if it gets better. I haven't heard. It's gone. It's long gone. So that happened. It was out of my control at that point. And I also had signed legal documents that, protected me from going out online and defaming them and getting mad and calling. And really, it would have done no good for me anyway to hurt somebody else. So I learned that I'm the last one to judge people.
I remember being kind of annoyed back then, not at you or just in general.
But I get it.
We filmed a bunch of videos at that Grid Gaming. And we never saw them. I remember I was like, dude, can I get those videos? Because I really liked them and I want to use them.
I honestly might have them somewhere.
At this point, they would not be relevant.
I know. Yes, they would.
Probably not.
It would be interesting.
I did 2 of them with you. I don't remember. It was Metal Gear Solid something.
Yeah.
Because I remember specifically like sitting in the corner of my room. And I was just like talking like Solid Snake.
Oh yeah.
For some stupid reason.
I remember that.
And then I did some sort of Chrono Trigger video talking about Chrono Trigger music.
Best video game music.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to do a video like that. That's good. Okay.
Speaking of studios and the fact that I want one and Aaron has one, Eric, I've been seeing online lately you've been setting one up and I know nothing about it.
Yes. Okay. So let me divulge all the information that you're looking for. So basically, I have a home recording studio under the moniker of Lad Studios, ladstudios.com. Check it out. Follow us on Instagram, etc. Basically, we've been working from home for the last year, and like as you and Aaron just mentioned, like having the work-life balance is very difficult, especially if you're working strictly from home is just very hard. And I'm tired of having clients come into the house, and I'm tired of having them walk through the house to go to the bathroom. It's just I'm just over it. You know what I mean? So we've been very lucky enough to actually get a hold of a proper commercial space. So we're at the point now where we're just renovating. We've put some walls up. We started painting yesterday. Built a vocal booth yesterday. So we're going to have a dedicated recording studio. So it's going to be awesome. And I even have a window which is huge. So that's being custom made. So like when you think of recording studios, this is going to be it. So probably next time we record the podcast in like 6 months, I'll be there.
What really sucks is I almost had one. Like I told you, I was looking with Billy and Jay, and we had a place lined up for the start of this month, February 1st. And for 2 months, we had this place lined up, and we kept saying to the lady, "Hey, do you want some money yet? Like we have like the first rent."
We're ready.
She kept saying like, "No, don't worry about it." It's just pushing it back. Like when you move in, and then about a month ago, at this point, she messaged us and said, "Hey, someone else bought the entire thing out, or rented the entire thing out from under you, essentially." So it sucks, and we could tell because we were taking half of it, and this dude came along and wanted the whole thing, not just the other half. So that's what ended up happening. So now we got to try and find somewhere else, and it's been proving really difficult because we don't want to go downtown Dallas or anything like that and deal with traffic every day. So we're trying to find somewhere kind of local-ish, and there really isn't many places.
So like what can you find? Like just a small apartment or something like that, or strictly like commercial space?
Apartments wouldn't really work though, because you've got like your neighbors and like making noise. And then you're like trying to film and yell, and you're worrying about what they're doing, and then like a toilet flushes above you. And so,
well, if you come to California, you can get an office down here for like maybe 800 square feet for like $4,000.
Yeah, but there's a restaurant called Rosa's down the road that has the best Mexican food.
I've been there.
Really?
Yeah,
Rosa's is so good.
That's like when I went to Texas, someone was like, "I'm taking you to Rosa's," and they threw me in the trunk and took the duct tape off, and we went.
That's where Kim and I had our first date, and when we started looking at houses, we found this place, and as we were driving away, we saw a Rosa's down the street. We were like, done. We're going to try and get this place.
That's good. Mexican food is life, bro. I'm with you on that.
So we haven't done a podcast in a while, as we've alluded to quite a few times now. There are games and stuff that we need to talk about, and I know that Aaron, you're all into your Switch too, and got a Switch trio right here, so I'm sure there's a lot we can talk about. So Eric, why don't we go ahead and cut to the mid-break, and when we come back, we're going to dive into a lot of things like Metroid. I want to start with Metroid, which is hopefully coming this year now, apparently.
All right, so before we dig in to all the games,
oh dear.
This musical break is one that was highly requested from my YouTube channel, Retro Game Remix. And a couple of years ago, I actually had Retro Game Remix Volume 1 CDs physically printed, and I ran a competition. It was like, okay, suggest a song, and whichever one I like the most will be the winner. So I had some guy, Megamat21. He's like, oh, do something from Shovel Knight. So I was like, okay, cool. And literally, I never did it. But he still won. He still won the CD. So there was something burning in the back of my head, like, ah, shit, I should probably do it. So, without further ado, this is my rendition of "Strike the Earth," the stage 1 theme from Shovel Knight, and it's something that I've always wanted to do because I love the music from Shovel Knight. So, like I said, let's dig in.
Dig in. Yep.
I get it.
Then that was digging into Shovel Knight, the First World theme. I don't know, something like that. It sounded pretty cool.
Bandcamp.
I haven't heard it yet, but I'm sure it's fantastic.
Eric, it's always good.
No, your music's always really good.
It really is good.
I still remember the first time I showed Alpha your music, and I'm like, hey, listen to this guy's music. He did, I think it was the Mega Man cover, and I was playing it for like 20 seconds. And you know how you show someone something, and it's like 3 or 4 minutes long, so you just show them a little bit, then you're like, yeah, it's pretty cool, whatever. You try and like take it away. I went to take it away, and he looks at me dead in the eyes, and he's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, do you want to keep listening? And he's like, don't you fucking turn that off. I was like, okay.
Well, Eric did our theme song for Retroliberty.
Yeah, that's true. You also did the theme song for this podcast, which we won't drop in because you heard it at the start of the podcast.
That's funny. No, Aaron, I remember you asking me, he's like, hey, do you want to do this? Do you want to do our theme song? And I was like, all right. So I did it. So it was really fun. But I spent like 5 hours on it, even though it was like 30 seconds.
It sounded great. That's life, bro. Stuff takes a while.
Well, since we're all in the prime of our gaming careers, I want to talk about Metroid Prime. Now, if you guys haven't seen on my channel recently, the last couple of weeks, I've been talking about it a lot. A rumor was going around that Bandai Namco was working on 3 exclusives for this year for Nintendo Switch. One of them was a first-person shooter. The only other Nintendo first-person shooter was Geist, apart from if you want to count the rare games 007 or a couple games like
Perfect
that.
Dark
64. It's been a long time. So the rumor mill was, well, it must be Metroid. A lot of people were like, well, there's no way they're bringing out Prime 4 this year. It has to be like Metroid Prime Trilogy or something. But Eurogamer, I believe, .com yesterday has all but confirmed the fact that they are working on Metroid Prime. And apparently, these 3 exclusives are coming out between spring and summer of this year.
Yeah, I think I did see it confirmed.
Lead us to believe that Metroid Prime 4 is confirmed to be coming out before the end of summer this year, made by Bandai Namco.
Yep.
How do y'all feel about that?
I just have one question. Why can't Metroid crawl?
Because...
Do you remember that? Do you guys remember that?
I don't know what you're talking about.
All right. Okay, never mind. This is irrelevant. Long story short, remember when Metroid first came to the Wii U eShop and people were trying to play it, and there's a famous screenshot that said, why can't Metroid crawl? Because they were trying to do the morph ball, whatever, totally ruined it, blew it. Just do what you got to do, guys.
I liked it. So here's my thing. We're probably... Another rumor around the rumor mill right now is we're getting another direct this month. It's going to be February 14th to 16th. It's going to be a full direct, not a mini this time. So I can only assume if Prime is coming out this year, we're going to be finally hearing and seeing stuff at this direct. It would only make sense. Mm-hmm. The fact that when they announced it a few months ago, we just saw a really quick teaser trailer with no gameplay. It said in development. Unless they were just really trying to keep it under wraps hardcore, that told me that they hadn't done anything. Now you're telling me that it's coming out before summer?
I feel like we're in a new age, or at least Nintendo is. I feel like a lot of times, even with like that new Cloverfield movie that dropped on Netflix the day of the Super Bowl, I feel like this sense of like we're coming to an age where there's going to be surprises dropped. Like, here's a commercial and it starts now, and like it's available. I feel like that's happening with more and more things in entertainment industry that I'm seeing, and I kind of feel like what you said. I feel like obviously there was nothing to show with the original teaser clip that freaked out the world and everybody we're all excited about. But I feel like you said, I feel like there has to be more to it that's not being shown. I feel like they are closer than we feel. I feel like Nintendo is not going to keep us hanging for years. I feel like Nintendo's go right now, and we're obviously crushing it right now with how they're doing it.
I'm sure they are. I mean, that's the thing is like bear in mind, in today's day and age, we live in the day of like instant gratification.
Yep,
so
now.
like, it's like, okay, we'll tease it, we'll show the logo, we'll drop the logo, everybody will poop their pants, and then all of a sudden, 8 months later, direct, boom, out in 3 months. I think like surely they've been working on it. I mean, come on, it's the Switch. So like the Switch has finally outsold like everything for the Wii U just recently.
Yeah.
It makes total sense that they would do it now.
For me, I would see that happening. I can see that happening for sure. I mean, Nintendo's definitely been implementing that whole doing a direct and then just so you know this game's getting DLC and you can download it right now, like stuff like that. So I can see that happening. But for me, I just had this perfect plan in my mind of, well, they've just started working on it. It's going to take them a while. They haven't made a Prime game in forever, and the ones that they made most recently weren't exactly amazing. like Metroid games, not Prime games. So for the way I saw it was Odyssey, end of the first year, Pokemon end of this year, second year, which is rumored to be end of 2018, start of 2019. So it's around that Christmas window. And then Metroid end of next year. So that's 3 big releases all lined up for Christmas, and then you filter your other ones in between. And the main reason I thought that, other than the fact that it would work amazingly, is because there's no way Prime was going to be ready in time. But now all of a sudden, it seems to be all but confirmed.
Do you think Nintendo needs, I was talking about this with Chris from NES Complex yesterday at dinner, and he was saying that Nintendo needs to have like 3 heavy hitter games this year come out to kind of keep the momentum that we had last year with some of the real, I'm not talking like pretty heavy hitters, I'm talking like Smash Bros, a Pokemon game, and a Metroid. Do you think like Nintendo needs that to stay consistent with what we got in 2017, or do you think they'd be able to get by with mediocre, popular games like Kirby, Yoshi?
I don't think Smash Bros will happen. I think you're going to see the Fire Emblem game because that's supposed to come out this year, and then Metroid, and then Pokemon, assuming they don't announce anything else big. And then you do have Yoshi and Kirby.
Yeah.
The reason I don't think Smash Bros is because Smash Bros is huge. And I think it lines up about right to do it next year with when Smash Bros came out on the Wii U. If I remember correct, the Smash Bros came out about 3 years into the Wii U. Okay. And that is such a big game that if you hadn't got everyone else on board yet with all these of our franchises we've put out, well, here's this game that has all these franchises in it, and this is the one I know you've been waiting for.
Yeah.
And I think that would just make third year boom.
Do you think they will even do another Smash Brothers, though?
Yes, I think they will. But my theory for the longest time has been one of 2 things. And the only reason I don't think it's going to be, or it might not be a sequel, is because I can't ever remember the guy that made Smash Brothers. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Thank you. But I know that he worked himself to the bone making the last one. And he said it almost killed him making it. And I don't think he wanted to make another one, let alone make one this soon, because it would have only been a few years after he would have had to have started development if it's coming out soon. So what I think it might be possible is a deluxe version of the last one, where it has the 3DS and the Wii U one together, because that game, for all intents and purposes, for a Smash Brothers game is fine. It's perfect. It's Smash Brothers.
Well, what really would you want? Not only what could you expect, but what even more would you want from a Nintendo game as far as graphical presentation? Like, I wouldn't want it to look more realistic and more. I mean, maybe besides characters. Yes, we can go into characters. Obviously, there's characters.
Add characters. Add a bunch of new characters, a bunch of new worlds, and include everything from the other games. Repackage it. You have Smash Brothers. Everyone's going to buy it.
Who do you think are the name one character you think will guaranteed probably be, or that you want be in there?
I want Shovel Knight.
Okay.
The ones you can guarantee, I think, are the ones from their franchises they're making
Splatoon.
now. So ARMS, you're going to get some ARMS characters.
Some Inklings.
Some Inklings. I mean, ARMS is a fighter, so that goes without saying. It's so easy to throw in those lanky-armed mother crappers. I don't like swearing. I like swearing around you, Aaron.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm just going to go to church after.
And I think we had Shulk in the last one, so maybe you'll get Shulk again with maybe an alternative costume for Rex, or maybe it will be a separate character for Rex and Pyra or something like that. If you had a character of Rex with Pyra inbuilt in that character, so she has certain moves with him.
I would love to see. I would love to see Cappy as somehow in there as a playable something.
Well, you could have Mario Odyssey Mario.
Totally.
And he has the cap, and then it'd actually be kind of cool if he had the ability to take over a character for a short period of time. Like I'm talking like
Kirby.
Five very annoying, or maybe as his ultimate, you throw it, you take over another character, and like maybe he becomes like OP or something for like a minute.
Or like you said, a Kirby, like Eric said, but the way you use it is kind of like a NES where you can shoot it, like, throw it and you can control it and link onto somebody and then you're there. It's like a long distance Kirby shot. So
what if whoever you linked it to mimics Mario's moves for a while?
That'd be amazing.
So you can try and you have like 5 seconds to try and walk him off an edge.
Oh, it's like a shadow character?
Yeah.
That'd be hype. Use it with the right stick or something. That'd be cool. Yeah, I like that.
That would be cool. And that's what I mean. Like all you would need to do is stuff like that, and you have a new game. You don't have to rebuild go through that process of building all those character models all over again, all those worlds all over again. Why? Why do it? It's going to be the same thing.
Yeah,
it's fine. Like I loved the 3DS one, but like I found it very hard to play. And like their main mode, whatever it was called, like somebody help me out here. Like
the battle brawl. This is brawl.
No. No, in the 3DS mode. Like,
no, I'm saying when you play, doesn't it just say brawl on the to brawl if you want to brawl? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I'm completely wrong.
Are you talking about the story?
Not the story mode, like the adventure mode, like with the new thing in the dungeon running and you get items and all that stuff.
I don't remember.
Whatever.
The 3DS mode.
Yeah, the 3DS mode. Basically, the thing that was on the 3DS that wasn't on the Wii U. Like, bring that over. You know what I mean? Like, why not?
Maybe add a story, considering you took one away for very petty reasons last time.
Yes.
And I mean, to elaborate on that, they took away the story because someone linked it, and so they didn't add leaked it, so they didn't add a story mode.
Yeah, they don't need to do too much. The game and the gameplay, way it handles and the way it plays is already perfectly polished to where even I've been playing a ton of Smash Brothers mods lately, as far as like Super Smash Flash and different ones, modded versions on the Wii and the Wii U, and they're pretty fantastic because the mechanics of the game have already been perfected. So like you guys said, they could just bring that over and give us some new things, and everyone will still be a million times over happy.
Or you could just play Brawl Out on the Switch.
I've been playing the heck out of Brawl Out.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's not Smash Brothers.
I like it, but you know what? It's hard for me because a lot of people give me criticism because I'm always happy with multiplayer games. But what people, when they come to our channel, what I tell them is, you have to realize I'm in a room with 3 guys who are jacked up on Dr. Peppers and sugar. Any game that has more than one player is going to be the funnest game in the world to us. We could play Monopoly with us 3 and we'd have the most fun time with it. So,
Monopoly's great.
We have fun with Brawl Out. So.
Either of you getting Dragon
Quest Builders? No, I'm not.
Thank you. I just got that yesterday. I was actually given a code from Nintendo. I don't even really want to start it. It looks really boring.
And that's your review. Yeah, same here.
I will try it because obviously I have to, but it just looks like Minecraft.
That's what it is. It's literally Dragon Quest Minecraft.
I don't like Minecraft. Well, that was a short conversation topic.
I've been playing Dragon Ball Fighter Z.
Yeah, that game is
really good, which is really good.
That's one of the best new fighters that's come out of the last decade, in my opinion.
Well, and with that, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite was just snubbed from the fighting competition.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, they kind of shot themselves in the foot anyway because they released the game with 6 characters.
Yeah, you know what? Like you said, Fighter Z, or Fighters, as some people say, has done a good job because of quite a few of the later fighter games have kind of struggled with their initial releases. Like Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, Street Fighter V had a ton of issues when it first came out. So it's I feel like a hat off, to Dragon Ball Fighters for doing a good proper launch.
Street Fighter released without being able to play local player or something like that. You kind of had to play online, and there was a whole bunch of issues around the online. I can't quite remember. I didn't play it, and then. As I said, Marvel vs. Capcom came out with maybe 5 characters from each side, and when you're pulling from these huge universes and you've had all these characters in the past, why, unless you just want to really milk that DLC, why release with so few characters? That's why I didn't bother picking it up, and I love the series.
I didn't like the graphic style either. It was off to me.
No, it changed. It became too semi-realistic. I didn't like it. But a game, I was going to say a fighter that's doing really well is Injustice.
Yeah.
Because they brought out a second game. It was improved a bunch. It had a ton of great new characters.
And the Ninja Turtles are coming to it, on Tuesday.
Ninja Turtles are coming to it.
Tuesday, we're going to be playing it. It looks awesome.
It's honestly incredibly fun to play. It's a really unique fighter.
Yeah, it really is. It's environmental where you can interact with the environment, but it's not too much to where it feels like a Power Stone or a 2.5D. It's still, side view 2D, but has all of those little elements behind you, and it works really well.
It's a really great game, but Fighters is still, that game came out of nowhere for me. I thought it was going to be good, but damn, it's beautiful. It's
really good. And it's so easy to play too. And all the combos, all the move sets are the same. So if you do the same, how if you were to do a Hadouken in Street Fighter, that's basically Kamehameha for Goku. But it's the same kind of move for every other character, and it's really, and the game is so good looking that it almost makes you feel like you're watching the anime at certain points. It's just really
does. It's just so beautiful. The way the explosions look on the screen too. It looks better than the anime, but still like the anime.
And the story mode's all right too. I mean, it's not awesome, but it's really cool.
I don't really like the story mode, and it's super easy too.
Yeah, it's really easy.
It's kind of cool how it's like you're in an episode, but it's a really tame episode.
Yeah, it's kind of a mild episode. You have your 3 different story arcs. You have your hero, you have your enemy, and then you have the main villain of the game. You can play as not necessarily that villain, but as like the androids, like Android 16 and 18 and then 17. So it's cool, but it's like basically one long, drawn out, semi-boring episode, but it's fun.
It is hecka fun.
What else you been playing, Aaron? You got Monster Hunter?
I don't play Monster Hunter. I've actually just started playing a game yesterday that's already been out for a while on other consoles, but you know Disc Jam?
Yeah, I actually just got that too. I haven't played it yet though.
It works much better. When I played it on the PS4 a while back when it was free, there was a lot of lag issues, a lot of glitching issues that to me made it kind of unplayable. Ricky and I were playing it. We're like, this is kind of whack. I hesitated to get it on the Switch, but I got it when it came out 2 days ago, and I've been playing it every night since. Right before I left, my son literally grabbed me on the back. He's like, Dad, when we get home, are we playing Disc Jam? And I was like, yeah, and I've been playing the heck out of this game, and I'm honestly really enjoying it. And not to say I haven't done a single player, but as far as a fun time, it's Windjammers with some boringer characters, but it runs super smooth.
I'm actually really excited to check it out. Sean and I were going to live stream it.
Do it with Sean. You guys will have a blast. You'll be screaming the whole time. Trust me.
Hey, you should join. Is it more than 2 players or just 2 players?
4. It's cuatro.
Well, hey, all 4 of us could play.
Let's do it, bro. I'm all about it.
Actually, question. I didn't talk about this at the start. What about Ricky? What's Ricky doing?
Ricky is doing great. I see Ricky all the time. Ricky and I have nothing but become closer in this. Our families have grown closer. Our wives have grown closer. Ricky is one of those guys I could truthfully say that is like, you don't meet people like him very often who stick by you through anything. He's the least judgmental guy I know. He's the kind to sit there and hug with you and cry with you and be there with you. And his wife's the same way. I was at their house the other night talking to him and his wife for about 2 hours. And it's just like, we have become nothing but better friends. So for those who ask, because trust me, our new show, Superhero Game Squad, 20% of the comments are Ricky and different Ricky quotes and churro, even though he's not there, which he will start popping in, but he just, we have become nothing but better friends, and he is doing well. He loves video games just as much. We play so much. We collect together. We buy games together. Everywhere he goes, he seems to buy me a Cuphead toy or a Cuphead action figure. I'm obsessed. Look, did you see this? I got a Cuphead.
Oh, no way.
Full-on cool. Cuphead and I got a Joy-Con tattoo. So
that's funny.
Yeah.
Switch for life.
I want to get tattoos, man. I need to start getting some gaming tattoos going.
I need more.
You do. You have some. Yeah. You need more.
I don't have a single gaming tattoo.
I'm a joke. Come to California, I'll get you hooked up. I have guys I got both of these tattoos for $80. So
that's not bad. So I'm glad Ricky's good. So nothing's changed. Just
honestly, we're just as crazy. We're just as wild. We just don't do a show together. But today we were discussing our boys might start kind of like a Retroliberty 2.0 and start at the ages of 12 and 7 and do their own version of it as kids. So
that's a good idea.
It'd be kind of interesting.
That'd be interesting.
I think they'd have fun with it.
The Liberty Goonies. Or
that's just the way the pursuit plays out.
The Retro Liber Mini. Yeah. What about?
All right. What else?
Mario movie.
What else?
I look at
Mario movie.
I look at topics.
Yeah.
If you guys need topics, I literally all day write down topics. So
shoot them,
Mario.
So Mario movie is one.
Mario Move Me.
If you guys want to go into it, let me know.
Mario Move Me. I want to go into it. Tell me what you know.
Oh wait, can I do a battery change before we jump into Mario movie?
Yeah.
I have a brand new battery. I'm just going to push it in. Okay. Should I?
I believe.
You want me to start and stop? It's at 21 minutes.
Do it. I don't care.
Okay.
Getting hungry.
Yeah, me too, actually.
Kim and I found a new place to eat breakfast at today. It's called
dang it.
Sunnyside Cafe.
Oh, fuck. Man,
dude,
I miss the diner style places,
dude. It had huge biscuits and gravy, like country gravy with like sausage inside, eggs, hash browns covered in gravy, sweet tea.
Your gravy.
Sweet tea, man.
Dude, that's why I can't leave Texas. Sweet tea, man. I know.
Can I, we're going live. We're back on. A little bit of a camera reset, battery change. Let me just say that I don't like that Australia does not have the American style. Obviously, it's American style. But there's no diner style places, man. And it kills me because, I just want to rock up to a diner at 2 a.m., get scrambled eggs on toast with a chocolate milk and a side of sweet tea. Come on.
I don't understand. I was saying this to Kim the other day. Okay, country to country, I can maybe get on board with the fact that some things just taste different in some places and some people just have different tastes as a culture.
Yes.
But what I don't get is how you can go 2 states over and you won't be able to find sweet tea or Dr. Pepper.
I know.
I don't get that. Or you go to California and it's harder. Maybe I don't know. I've never tried to get biscuits and gravy or like stuff like that. It's like, why? It's so good. And like,
it's becoming, we get biscuits and gravy now, but it's not like Southern inspired. It's like really like hipsterified.
I know.
We got biscuits and gravy, but it's made with tofu and tofurkey and it's healthy.
Oh God,
I don't do that stuff either.
I went to Seattle and there was like this country place and I got their biscuits and gravy and it was just this huge mess of biscuit and gravy on my plate and it tasted like watered down and it came with a sweet tea that had like lemon in it and I had to try and get sugar packets and like melt them down in hot water to kind of make it sweeter. I'm like, this is a mess. I don't get it, man. And then you go to McDonald's anywhere else, like even in Canada, and you can't get $1 sweet tea, or you just can't get sweet tea in general.
I don't go to McDonald's. I don't know. I've been there in years.
Dude, you know what the worst is like when you go to a diner, it's like, yeah, I'll get an iced tea, and they show up. Boom, big ass.
Yeah.
And you take one step and it's like, there's no sugar in it. So then I look like an idiot ripping up like 20 sugar packets and putting it in this damn cup.
What a kid.
I am so Americanized now, I can never go back. Like, as I said, I went out for breakfast this morning. I had coffee. I got that thing refilled like 6 times. Kim got sweet tea, had that thing refilled 3 times. If we were in Australia, the cups are going to be this big and you got to pay $3.49 every time you want another cup. Not to mention you couldn't even get the sweet tea. You'd be drinking Coke, which is mostly ice. Dude, I can't ever go back.
Tell me
I can't ever go back. And not to mention, we got like all this food and we paid like $20 plus tip when we walked out of that place.
I know.
You go to Australia, you try and do that. I never ate out in Australia.
Every time we eat out, so there's this place, I don't know if it was around when you were here. It's called Schnitz. Have you heard of it?
Never heard of it. Sounds awful, but go on.
It's amazing. It's amazing. It's just like chicken schnitzel, which, by the way, in America, we don't call it chicken schnitzel. It's just chicken.
Okay.
You know? So whatever.
Like fried, like country kind of chicken.
Like country, like crumbed and like baked or fried or whatever.
Like, they call it schnitzel in Australia. I don't know why.
I don't know. But anyway, like my wife and I will go out to eat and it's like $40.20 every time. And it's like, I can't do it. It's just
too much money, bro.
It's too much.
I want that dollar menu. I want that sweet tea for $1.
$40 is a lot. I have a wife and 3 kids, and we go out to eat. We ate before this, and it was like $27 with 5 people.
I know.
You know, one thing that's kind of crazy though, and Kim actually pointed this out to me a couple of days ago when we were sat at the before mentioned Roses, is while, you know, as you say, you go out for dinner and like anywhere, it's going to be way more expensive. And like I went out for breakfast this morning, it was super cheap. But McDonald's is actually cheaper in Australia.
It is.
A McDonald's Big Mac is like $4.25 or something like that. In Australia, it's actually $4.50 here. And when you put $4.50 American into Australian, it's about $6.
Oh.
So technically, the Australian Big Mac is like $2 cheaper.
Yes, but I mean, the other thing is like, I know I'm talking figures, but also bear in mind that I think it's like 20 cents to the dollar, the conversion rate is. So technically, you're actually better off. Because like minimum wage here is like $15-16, and a meal for both my wife and I is $40. So I would only work 2.5 hours for that meal. Whereas if I was in the States, if I was spending $40, that's like a full day's wage for some people. Like if you're working at Dollar Tree or something. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Dollar Tree.
Kim was making $7.20. Kim was making $7.25.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
At GameStop.
GameStop.
So yeah. GameStop pays like crap.
Yeah,
so.
they do. I tried to apply at GameStop when I was in high school, but like, no.
So some things do suck here, but biscuits and gravy and sweet tea and Whataburger. So I mean, you know.
Speaking of Whataburger, let's talk about the Mario movie that's supposedly just been confirmed.
Perfect
let's do
segue.
it. Who wants to go first? Because I know nothing about
Aaron,
it.
I'll go about
take
it.
Away.
All right, so the Mario movie that has been talked about and rumored about. We got like a little more information recently. We were told, yes, it is being made by the same people that made the Minions movies, which is Illuminations. But it was confirmed to us, which is the most exciting part to me, is that it is going to be co-produced by Shigeru Miyamoto himself, which is every gamer's wish for a video game to movie adaptation, because it always falls in hands of someone who doesn't really care about the series. And if they do, they're not going to be near as invested as the freaking creator of this. So for Shigeru Miyamoto to be this closely tied to it, I feel like we're actually going to get, imagine this, a good Mario movie. I mean, we think of the old Mario movie, which some people like for, its cult following of the cult status of what it is, like The Room. But it's going to be, I feel like it's going to be good. We're going to be able to be happy with what we watch.
My only concern in that, and painting a negative picture here,
okay.
is that with him involved, that also means Nintendo is involved, and it might mean Nintendo's going to be really picky.
Yeah.
And some things that work in video games might not work in movies. And if I remember correctly, a lot of the issues Mario Brothers movie had was they gave them complete freedom, but then they started coming in and changing things they didn't like.
Yeah, true.
So hopefully Nintendo's involvement won't hinder the movie, but there's definitely a lot of possibilities to make a great Mario movie. I mean, playing Kingdom Battle Rabbids, whatever, there was actually a lot of cutscenes in that if you string it together and, actually put a story into it around the gameplay, you could have made a pretty interesting movie, to be honest. It started almost like a Pixar animated movie.
And the Rabbids basically are somewhat of a minion character. They're goofy and weird and make weird noises. And the good thing is we have two things that are both good. It'd be scary if it was two things that were, and one's good, but then the person that's making the movie is a company that kind of sucks at making movies. And another thing that's good is they're both, Nintendo's pretty much, Mario's like a kid painted picture. Any kid can like Mario. And the Minions is something that has been very successful with kids. So I feel like we have two things that hopefully look like they're going to mesh really well. So for me, I don't know, someone with kids, 3 small kids, when I told them this, they're like, oh, we love both of those. How can it go wrong? So I'm just hoping that point is proved to us someday.
Yeah,
so
what I would love out of this movie is something different, but not like stupid. So what I mean by that is, we know Mario's story. Us as gamers, we've played Mario's story again and again and again. Mario and Luigi save Peach from Bowser. Yeah. I don't want that. Put a spin on that if that's what you're going to do. What I would like is something kind of akin to Wreck-It Ralph, where it's almost a little self-aware. I'm not talking getting all these bunch of characters in from different franchises, but Mario, it's a video game. It's maybe you start at an arcade, maybe you go into virtual world, maybe it's sort of almost a little bit more self-aware of a movie with a really interesting side plot that could use that, as opposed to, a straight Mario wakes up and finds out Peach is gone again.
Here's an interesting thing. The origin story of Mario. I mean, we all know that Mario's a plumber, but and we all know that baby Mario was rescued by Yoshi. How did he get from point A to point B? That's something that hasn't really been addressed to my knowledge, and I think that'd be really cool. And hopefully they get Charles Martinet, the guy who voices Mario, to actually do it. I mean, I'm sure they will. And I hope it's not just sound effects, like Mario jumping and going. What I mean? I want a more involved thing.
It would be kind of cute to have a heartfelt story of, Mario as a baby getting saved by Yoshi and then getting attached to this character of Yoshi as well, who maybe doesn't speak or say anything really. I mean, you wouldn't be able to because it's Yoshi. And Mario having that connection with Yoshi, that could be interesting.
If they can get me to cry as an adult with an emotional connection to Mario, I will die a happy man.
I will cry in this movie. Hands up, I'm already gonna tears. All right, it's gonna happen.
I tear in everything. I cry in I cry in every movie. I cry a little. Did you guys see Coco?
No, not yet.
No.
Okay. Well, I cried an actual sob. I was so embarrassed and I couldn't control it. I cry in Christmas movies. I cried in Elf. I cry in Home Alone every time.
The last movie I cried at was Star Wars Episode 8 because it was so bad.
Oh my God. I really wanted to get you for a podcast after that because I had so much I wanted to say about that awful movie. I'm not gonna do it now.
Do you think there's any other video games out there that would interpret over to a good movie?
Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's a lot of movies that could be made. I mean, Last of Us still has a very interesting concept that you could take that first movie and put your own different story elements to it, but essentially make the same movie but a movie.
Well, Uncharted.
Uncharted's another one.
I would like to see animated Star Fox. That's what I'd want to see.
Yes.
Like a very cool animated Star Fox.
I mean,
they did.
Hour,
yeah, but I want to see a full,
To be honest, realistically, if this Mario movie does well, it's not going to be the end of the story. You're going to get other Nintendo movies, and Star Fox is a perfect one because, especially, I know you want to say something,
Yoshi's
but
story.
I know, especially for kids who maybe aren't familiar with the franchise, that Fox character is going to sell toys. It's going to sell plushies. It's going to sell merch, no matter if you know Star Fox or not.
It's interesting because I feel like I personally believe, I have this feeling that it will do well. And the only reason I feel like that is I know I'm like a Nintendo fanboy at heart, but I have this weird like feeling and like aura around Nintendo right now that is like almost like unstoppable. Like how I felt when I was a kid when Nintendo. I'm like, I feel like everything they're doing right now. I tell these guys at my work who aren't as hard gamers as I am, I'm like, you guys, this time we're in right now, like with Nintendo outselling things and outselling the PS2's first year sales, I'm like, this is like huge historical events in gaming and in Nintendo history where we're going to look back on and be like, oh, I remember when I this, and I remember seeing the Switch this, and I remember doing videos about it. And it's like, I feel like Nintendo is just cultivating this perfect thing right now, this whirlwind of like, and the amusement parks coming and movies. And it's just like, what is happening right now with Nintendo? I'm like, we're in the freaking time now.
Exactly what I said in a very recent video is I spent 5 years defending the Wii U, and even up to the end of its lifespan, the last year, I was still the one saying, yes, this system is worth picking up. Here are the games it has, guys. Try it for yourself. See if you like it.
Absolutely.
And it's still in the comment section, even after 5 years, like, oh, I don't know, maybe if they do a price drop when the Switch comes out, like stuff like that. The Switch, maybe the first few months, it was kind of a little bit of a battle trying to convince people the next system isn't going to be a flop like the Wii U was. But now it's just a given. Like, if I made a video right now called, Is the Switch Worth Buying? People, I don't think they'd even bother watching. And if they did, they would be like, are you stupid? Like, of course it is. It's so dumb, dude. It's crazy. I mean, dumb in the best way. The Switch is essentially everything Nintendo has ever done in one system. And they've even mentioned that themselves a bunch of times. The first graphic we saw when the Switch was announced was all the other systems they've done, and they were taking little bits from them here and there, like the Wii U tablet and like the Wii Joy-Cons and stuff. And here they are in this one system. And now we're seeing every single game, every single franchise they've ever done is making its way to the system in a new iteration, or maybe like a remaster or stuff like that. It is literally Nintendo's entire thing, and even you can tell it's their mindset because even their games are reflecting that. Mario Odyssey was a love letter to Mario. It was all Mario games coming together in this final Mario game.
It really was.
And Zelda, in its own way, was a complete pullback to the very first Zelda, and that's what that game would look like now if it was released this year. And it was just the best Zelda.
Yeah, and I think there's something that the Switch did that I kind of took for granted until playing it, and I didn't really realize it until I've been playing it for a while, is I'm someone who always has been a hardcore Nintendo fan, but I've never been into portables. I don't like any portables. I've never played them. They weren't for me, and I never realized how much more I got out of gaming when this happened, because I started taking it everywhere. I wouldn't have beat Mario Rabbids if I didn't have the option to play it at home and then play it on my lunch break at work. And even games like I did in a recent video, I was talking about how Call of Duty 2018, which I am a Call of Duty guy. I do like Call of Duty, regardless of all of my Nintendo love. But I feel like I'm actually going to want to do like the story campaign, which not many people do nowadays, because I know I wouldn't normally do it on a PS4 or Xbox because I won't have time to finish it. When I get home, I just want to hop online and play multiplayer. But this, I can be like, shoot, I can take it and finish the campaign at work now. And it's turned me into a portable gamer as well, which I never would have imagined myself being. So it's pretty cool.
It's surreal. I mean, I've had 3DS, sorry. I've had PlayStation Vita, and I've loved them, but I never played them this much. I still always preferred gaming on my TV. And I got my Switch, and I'm like, I'm so thankful that it's portable and on my TV, so I can play it docked. There's no way I'd play anything other than docked because I want to see it the way it was designed. But now, I don't. My dock's been in here so I can record footage when I need to, but apart from that, I play handheld because there's no reason to not sit in bed playing it.
It's absolutely true. Yeah,
it's crazy.
Way to play.
It is.
Also, I want to say I really liked the first Mario Brothers movie before we moved on too far from that.
Oh, that's okay.
It's a guilty pleasure. I love that movie.
It's all right.
It's so good.
A guilty pleasure. I don't know. People hate on it to hate on it, but whatever.
Oh, it's not a great movie. I just love it. I think it's amazing.
It's okay.
Dude, when they're dancing that dino weird dance in that bar, moments like that you just can't forget.
I love that real life dinosaur Yoshi.
It's
beautifully
frightening.
It was cool. I thought it was cool at the time.
It was cool. Like I saw it when I was a kid. I had nothing to compare it to, so I was like, "Cool, Mario." But now that I'm older and I obviously know it's like, okay, well,
Mario and Luigi Mario, man. No, I will say that I thought the one thing that movie did really cool, and I don't know if everyone hates this concept or if it's just me, but I said just before, if you do a Mario movie, put a spin on it. And that's what they did. And I've always loved the concept of that first Mario movie, despite all its flaws. Because how do you get these two plumbers, these two live-action plumber men, into a fantasy Mario world? Well, when the asteroid hit, it made two universes, and one, you had the chimpanzees evolve into humans, and the other one, you had the dinosaurs evolve into humans, and you got to go into the dinosaur world. I don't know, but if it was me and I thought of that idea when I was coming up with a Mario movie, I would have been very proud of myself.
Yes. I mean, like, bear in mind, they had nothing else to base it on. Like, they had only had like 4 Mario games at that point, not even.
True. That's true to think about. I don't normally think about that when I judge it.
And the world they built, too, was actually pretty cool. All those, like, weird cars and, like, the street vendors and then, like, the street and the way it looked. They actually did a pretty good job at a concept and a design.
Well, I hear that the actual movie, when they did it, was, like, the biggest struggle ever. What's the guy's name? Is it Bob Hoskins? No. What's the actor's name?
Bob Hoskins. I can't pronounce it either.
Yeah, he was saying, they were saying it was like the hardest movie they ever worked on because so much would change every other day. And they were like, this is almost like, here's the script and we're going to film in 2 minutes. Like,
there was constant rewrites and they kept dropping the directors, and then Nintendo changed things, I'm pretty sure. And the directors they had, the writers they had, they couldn't agree on anything. And then it got this atmosphere where everyone hated each other and no one wanted to work or do anything. So, but I mean, it came together okay-ish. I want to give a huge thank you to Aaron. And again, I do want to say that as he's putting on glasses, I'm going to try and be serious. He's very, very committed to what he's doing now on YouTube. And I am just so proud of the Aaron I used to know as a personal friend and the Aaron I know now, and the personal development that he's gone on in the last year has been insane.
It's been wild. But yeah, seriously, thank you to you guys more. Like, it was so cool and like heartwarming because I remember commenting on some of your guys' recent podcasts and Eric replying like, you should come on our podcast, and I was still in a different place, and Eric asked again, and then me without asking would ask me, and I'm like, these people care, they care. They invited me on with no regard of me being like, help me out, bros. I have a new channel. Get me some subs. I was like, these guys, they care. And it's like this cool bond. And I'm just, thank you to anybody who watched too. It really is cool that they can see this and stick around. You guys give me an outlet to do it. So I really thank you guys. I'm shaking your hand right now, both of you.
I was going to virtually shake your hand.
Thank you.
Aaron's first channel had 33,000 subscribers, I think, before he went on his personal journey. His new channel isn't quite there yet, so let's help him get there. And if you're listening to this and you're not subscribed to his channel, make sure to go check it out. We'll leave links in the description below and everywhere else that you can.
Thank you. You guys are amazing.
Well, I'll take it away. So there you go. There's another episode of Everything's Taken podcast. Everybody, please listen on SoundCloud. Leave us a review on iTunes. And if there's anything that you ever want us to talk about, leave a link in the comments. And please don't tell me how bad the editor's job is or like if some audio gets off sync, because literally, so what? Shit happens.
Are you doing this one, Eric?
I don't know. We'll see.
I can take this one if you don't want it.
Other than that, thanks to Aaron for being back on. It's such a pleasure to talk to you again.
Thank you, really.
Aaron was probably my oldest YouTube friend, and you believed in me when I barely had 100 subscribers.
Believe in all of you.
That will always mean something to me. And everybody, thanks again for listening and watching and being patient with us for the first episode of 2018. We haven't done one since like September of last year, so
no, we're terrible.
So there you have it.
We'll see you in a few months for the next one.
Take it away, Wood. Bye.
Bye. I have nothing to say. Just see you.
Whatever. See you.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Add me on MySpace.